If you buy and sell vehicles for a profit or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius podcast. Our number one goal is to help our listeners make more money. Every episode, we share information, ideas, and experiences of real-life car flippers. I'm Randy Lee. I'm the host of Flipping Genius. I've flipped cars most of my life. For over a dozen years now, I've been a licensed dealer. I am working to build the best podcast about successfully flipping cars for a consistent profit. Let's get to it, flippers. Flipping Genius is back, and we are ready to go. I took a vacation. Some of you knew that. Some of you don't care. But had a great time with my wife in Orange Beach, Alabama. If you don't know where that's at, I'll tell you what. There can't be many places where there's a more beautiful beach than Orange Beach. And this time of year, quite a few times a year, the weather is just wonderful. And we had a fantastic time right on the beach. We weren't there long enough, but we were there for, enough time that we really enjoyed ourselves. Every time we always say, boy, I wish we could stay. And one of these days we're going to. One of these days we're gonna just stay and stay and stay till we feel like going someplace else. But it was a lot of fun. And one of the things I did, I want to shout out to Mr. Don, the gentleman that I met the first night I was there. He gave me a tip on something I think I'm hoping that I will take advantage of for the rest of my life. It's a really smart idea. He said we were looking at a full moon that night, my wife and I and Don and his fiance, and he said the moon was full. It was night. It was reflecting on the Gulf of Mexico, just beautiful image. And he said if you really want to have a spiritual awakening, come out here tomorrow morning at about 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it'll just be you and God and the beach. And I'm an early riser, as maybe you know. And so next morning I was up early, and I took Don's idea, his advice, and I went down to the beach about 5:15, I think, and it was spectacular. The full moon was still out. The sun was eventually coming up, and it was really beautiful. And I did that every day that I was there, and actually followed that up with a beach walk, and then some more walk that I do. I try to walk or exercise every day. And last week I did over 40 miles. So saw a lot of things, and played golf with Terry. She came along to watch, and she's so wonderful. I think I chipped one in on the first hole for a double bogey, and she just thought that was spectacular. And that's the thing about golf. My golf game, anyway. I'll have 2 or 3 good shots during the round, and that's what keeps you coming back. But Terry doesn't usually go with me, but she did this time, and it was a lot of fun just being out there with her. Despite my horrible play, I had a couple chips and a couple putts, and even a couple drives that were all right. And my best club, I always say, is my golf ball retriever, and I did get to use it too. So that's always fun for me. And just amazing scenery all week long. The Orange Beach, Gulf Shores area, Alabama's Gulf Coast, which is a very small area, in Fort Morgan, Alabama, are all just beautiful white sands. Just a beautiful place, and Alabama does the beach really well. I mean, I'm so impressed with our state's coastline. I almost am afraid to tell everybody about it because I think you'll be shocked if you take my advice and come down. It's not very expensive. It's expensive, but not very expensive compared to every place else. And we have a fantastic park system, and I just took full advantage of that every morning, walking in this uh, nature preserves along the coastline, not right on the beach, but just beautiful scenery, beautiful foliage, wildlife. Saw an eagle's nest one morning, uh, and just happened to have the full moon, and of course the sunrise and the beach. Just beautiful stuff. Anyway, that's last week we didn't do an episode for the first time in oh man, over 100 weeks. I had produced an episode every Wednesday for over 100 weeks, and so it was a big deal to step away. And I appreciate everybody bearing with me and giving me a couple minutes off. That was a lot of fun, and I'll tell you another thing about the beach. And if you've listened to the 115 episodes that have come before this one, you've heard me talk about barter and what a terrific use of my barter funds. Saving cash, and that's something I always love to do, as you know. The place that we stayed at down there, I didn't have to spend. Well, virtually no cash. I gave them a couple bucks for cleaning fees, but everything paid for with my cost of doing business for my businesses through barter and ITEX barter. You've heard ITEX. We talked about them in the past. They were a sponsor of the Flipping Genius for the first year, maybe two, and really appreciate them. No longer working in that capacity together at this moment. They're welcome back anytime, but really nice accommodations down there. And let me brag about Sassy Bass Amazing Grill in Fort Morgan, Alabama. If you are in that area, I encourage you to visit Sassy Bass. It is my favorite restaurant. Maybe any place. I just love that place. I'm sure we've eaten there over 100 times, and every time I love it. It's they've got everything from delicious breakfast to fantastic seafood to nice ice cold adult beverages and wonderful service, and they're just good business people that I just appreciate. Uh, American entrepreneurs, and they definitely are. And they've got several different operations down there in the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Fort Morgan area, and they do a nice job. So, hey, wanted to give them a shout out. I don't know if that'll make much difference since we're all over the planet, but if you are in that area, stop in and tell them Randy Lee told you to come by. They'll say, "Who the hell's that?" And another way, and Sassy Bass is a member of ITEX as well, so that's a big reason why I go there. And I get virtually all of my clothes from one place, and that place is called Little John's Big and Tall. And I'll tell you what, it is my favorite clothing store on the planet. I used to be in the clothing business. I used to own a clothing business, a men's clothing business called the Atlantic Fashion Company back in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Really enjoyed that business a lot, and know quite a bit about the business. And I'll tell you this: there is no nicer big and tall men's clothing store than Little John's Big and Tall in Pensacola, Florida. Uh, Now I have grown out of the big and tall uh, department pretty much. I used to be a size 4X, and these days I wear extra large, and I'm almost into a large. I've been working pretty hard at it, and I, I I'm a little scared that I won't be able to buy anything from John, but I know that's not true because he orders stuff for me. Just ordered a whole slew of things, and I was in there and I picked up my I think it was 6 pairs of my favorite jeans that I wear. I picked up a new Stetson hat. I should have brought it with me so I could show it on camera. Great hat, looks just like the one that the Marshall wore on Justified. Unfortunately, I don't look like the Marshall on Justified, but a great hat. Another pair of my favorite Florsheim shoes. Picked those up, and a bunch of other great stuff. All there at Little John's Big and Tall. And hey, I again, great entrepreneur, great American, really good guy. Uh, you can check them out, littlejohnsbigandtall.com. If you're a big guy, you will be amazed at the style and fashion that John has available to you in enormous sizes. I mean, I was a 4X, but I'm not anywhere near as big as some of the guys, or I wasn't as big as some of the guys that John goes all the way up to, I don't even know, 9X or something like that. Maybe bigger than that. I don't want to undershoot him. And man, he treats you like a king, and he makes you look like a whatever looks good. But he's got some beautiful stuff. So anyway, I know it's not got anything to do with flipping, but I was off. I was off for a week. You know, this is the kind of stuff you do when you're on vacation. And I was on vacation with my beautiful bride, and we had a lot of fun. And hey, but it was time to get back in the saddle when we came back in, and I did. I'll tell you what, this Monday, uh, I was really pleased. Bought two at auction on Monday morning, and I came out great. Did a little due diligence and rolled the dice a little bit. I got a Chevy Impala with just 109,000 miles on it for less than $1,000, and I picked it up today and took it to the mechanic because that's what I do. Always, everything goes to Dennis Johnson first. And I was tempted to not do this Impala because I could not find anything wrong with it other than a dead battery, and I think the battery's going to even take a charge. Now you guys know I work in that low budget arena, and this one it was a donation from an elderly person, and man, it is clean. Less than 109,000 miles on it. Um, just about brand new tires, clean as a whistle inside. Just a little cosmetic work I need to do on the roof because it had been sitting outside. And well, Dennis will tell me if there's anything that needs to be fixed. But right now, I don't think there is. And paid less than 1,000. I think I'll maybe have 200 or 300 bucks in cleanup, um, and it should sell for 3,000 pretty quick, and I'll feel delighted about it because it's going to be a really good car for somebody. As far as I know, jumping to conclusions a little bit, but I could not be happier with that one. I don't think. And then I picked up a Mazda 3. I really like those cars. 132,000 miles on it. I really like those miles. Again, in my price range, that Kickapoo Joy Juice does something funny on the camera there. Um, no telling what it's doing inside of me. If you're not watching the video, you don't know what I'm talking about. But and we're trying to make the podcast available on video now too, and this one will be. Mazda 3 with 132,000 on it, also for less than $1,000. I got buyer's fees on top of that, but it runs and shifts well. It's dirty as can all get out inside. It's nasty. Same owner since 2011, so probably a two-owner vehicle, and they didn't take great care of it. They bumped her into some things, and and they did not believe in cleaning the interior. But I'll get her cleaned up, and that one should sell for at least 3,500, and I'm guessing I'll probably have $750 into repairs and a little reclamation there. But couple good buys, that was a lot of fun to come right back in and get right to it, and that's what yeah, I definitely wanted to do, and I just felt like I didn't miss a beat. Um, and I owe that a lot to my goal setting and tracking system that I've talked about. I talked about it in episode 2 of Flipping Genius, and I know we covered it again in like episode 52 or something. And I haven't talked about it for a while, but believe me, I haven't stopped using it. If you're watching the video, I'm going to show you this. I think I've done it before. This is oops. This is my system that I use. I got to turn it just the right way because I got the green screen on. But you can see it's my clipboard. I use a simple clipboard. I'm old school, old school, old school. But this thing keeps me on track every single day. I use this, and it helps me keep ahead of everything and stay on track to accomplish my goals. It helps me be intentional. That's something my wife and I talk about in our relationship, and it's something my son and I talk about in our relationship, and it's something I think about all the time. Be intentional, be consistent, and this system that I developed that I have used for decades now. Um, those are two big factors of it, and I'll tell you, I am really excited about the results that I'm seeing this year. In those long walks that I take and I'm taking, since I got back, I'm right on target doing the same thing I was doing down there at the beach. We live in a beautiful place in Alabama. We don't have a beach, but we've got a lot of other beautiful things to see. So I get out early in the morning, and the last 2 days I've done about 6 miles a day. So I've gotten to see a lot of beautiful North Alabama, and I, I'm excited about the results, and I'm excited about the direction we're going in. And the walking time gives me a chance to harness my energy and think about what I'm trying to accomplish. And as you know, it also helps me find opportunities. And I found one at the beginning of the last week that I think is going to come to fruition. A couple of vehicles that I'm hoping to buy that I saw when I was out walking. Um, I picked up a contact this week by keeping my head on a swivel, as I always say, and keeping alert. I'm working out possibly a new business relationship. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but I'm just excited about the results I'm seeing because of this uh, consistent, intentional drive towards my goals and tracking them. One of the things I mentioned earlier, I've lost over 30 pounds this year, and part of it is that walking. Part of it is tracking, using a tracking system on my phone. It's a free app. It's called Lose It, and I highly recommend that. Track everything that I eat, everything that I do, and I think I've probably talked about it before, but if I haven't, I'll tell you now. It makes me think of calories, kind of like I think of dollars, and I hold on to every dollar like it's my last, and I do that now with the calories. So I really really think about calories before I eat them, and that's been very helpful. So down like 32 pounds for the year so far. It's April 19th today, 20th. This will come out on the 20th, and it doesn't move as fast as I wished it would. But I used to be a much bigger cat, so these days the weight is coming off a little more begrudgingly, but it's coming off. And at my age, that feels pretty good because it gets a little harder, guys. As you get older, it gets a little hard to shake loose of that weight. But you can still do it, and I'm doing it. Um, I'm in the process of building two new business partnerships. Really excited about that potential. One of them, like I said, just came this week, due to trying to turn what I thought might be a detrimental situation into an opportunity. And I'll share more of that as it comes to fruition. But it was one of my goals this year to do this. So I'm really excited about seeing that happen. Um, and despite the fact that I'm involved in these other things, uh, I'm on target to more than double my car flipping business this year. Um, that's pretty exciting. Just I just looked at my books before I got on here, and I thought, yeah, we are on target for that. So great stuff there. Um, I'm really excited about some growth in my personal and spiritual relationships, and I'm sharing all this with you for a purpose. As because this is as I came back from vacation and saw myself move right into just churning and burning and doing what I want to do, ripping and running, as my dad used to say. Uh, I just see, I see my personal and spiritual relationships building. My family has had a family reunion. We're going on our seventh year in a row. Really excited about that. We got it on the books. We're ready. Didn't let that ball drop, despite all the things that are going on. That the opportunity to let that go is always easy because you take people for granted. I'm so glad we're not doing that. That we are doing it. We're not taking it. We're not letting it go by the wayside. And my relationships with the people who are closest to me are thriving because of that intentionality. I know my wife Terry and I and my son, we are very intentional with our interactions, and it's a big part of that. Um, I did my first virtual mission trip this year uh, to India, and I, I never thought I'd do that. It was great. I feel like I had an impact. I made a difference by being there. I mean, God made the difference. I was there. I was. I never thought I'd do that. It was really great. I encourage anybody who has that opportunity to do it. Um, and I'm delighted in a group the thing that led me to that is a group of guys that I meet with each Wednesday morning before most of you guys are awake. We get up and study God's word, and my relationship with these guys is growing, and it is awesome. I'm just thrilled about it. Guys are from all around the country, and we meet via Zoom, and it's been a spectacular thing. And so, I mean, these are all things that are, I looked at my day to day. Today, I had a to do list that I think without my system, there's no way I would have got all these things done. And with my system, I got all those things done. Plus, I'm recording the podcast, and I'm going to be back on track. It'll come out tomorrow morning, just like it's supposed to. Um, what a cool thing. And so I want to share it with you. If you want to learn more about this and about how I do this, you go ahead and listen to episode 2. Listen to episode 52, I think, where I talk about gold. I talk about this system. It's not rocket science. It's genius, and I'll be happy to share it with you. You can reach me at flippingquestions@gmail.com if you got a question you want to ask me about this specifically. Or if you want to interact with me on the car flipping forum on Facebook, I'll be happy to share more about the system I use and how it can work for you, because you could custom make this work for you. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is just something I do, and I know it's one of the big benefits that of being an old dude like me. I think I refer to myself on Facebook as a man with a plan and a clipboard, and that that is really I think that's probably my strongest suit. A lot of times I'm a little self depreciating on the podcast because I tell you I don't know about cars, and I don't know if you see me under the hood, I probably got run over. Uh, that little joke. But the fact is, there is something that I do well, and we're talking about it right now. Managing time and managing energy and setting goals, tracking goals, and achieving goals. Those are all strong suits of yours truly. So I figure I ought to talk about them at least once a year, and if I can help you do the same, I would love to. Anyway, reach out to me any either by email or through the car flipping forum, and I'd be happy to work with you. Speaking of the car flipping forum, we went over 500 members. I knew we would this week. We're probably up to 520 by the time you listen to this. And the group is growing, and I'm seeing more interaction. Not as much as interaction as I'd like to see. If you're on the car flipping forum, I encourage you to interact with each other. I encourage you to be active and participatory. Um, Share your ideas, share your stories, share your questions, and try to help each other. That's really what it's all about. I talked about it, I think, in the last episode. The uh, 20 groups that big car dealers participate in, they pay tens of thousands of dollars to be a member of these 20 groups so they can share ideas with like-minded folks who are trying to achieve the same kind of success, and maybe have some of the same experiences and some different experiences, and they interact and network. They're spending tens of thousands of dollars on this. Our car flipping forum is free. It gives you an opportunity to share your ideas with each other. It's free, free, free. So if you're not in there, join up. If you are in there, let's get busy, folks. Let's interact and ask questions and share ideas and make that thing work for all of us. It's exciting that we've got over 500 members, and thank you, all of you who are joining. Thank you, all of you who are interacting. I just know it can be even more. So I'm going to keep pushing and pushing, and I'll keep trying to share on there myself. But my goal would be that I not be the number one sharing person on there. Maybe sometimes, it's at the forefront of my thought, but I'd like to see more of you guys sharing more often. And if you're not a member of the car flipping forum, please join. All you got to do is go to Facebook and search Flipping Genius. You'll find it at the top of the list of Flipping Genius groups. You'll find a bunch of other ones too, but that is the forum. There is only one. Please join, and when you join, you're going to have to tell me a little bit about yourself, because I gotta screen everything because of the same thing we talked about last time when I talked about identity theft that is happening everywhere. And Facebook is one of the places. So I'm going to ask you to just answer 3 questions for me so I know who you are and what you're about. And other than that, it's free to join. And I invite you to become a flipping team member, or a flipping partner, or a flipping champion. For as little as $10 per month, you can help support the cause of the Flipping Genius program. And if you do that, I give you more back than you will ever send in, because that's my goal, is to make everything we do here value added. Mr. Don that I talked about last week, after we agreed to rent his beautiful place down there on the Gulf Coast, he called me the next day and offered something he called land yap, which I believe is a Cajun word or something for value added, more than you paid for. And that's something that he does, and boy does he. And it's something that I try to do with the Flipping Genius and with all my businesses, give you more than you paid for. And in some instances, you're not paying anything. So we try to do more than you paid for on the podcast and on the forum and everything else we do. But when it comes to you contributing via our Flipping Team Member Partner and Champion program, we try to go above and beyond. If you choose to make that commitment, we try to give you back more than you expect. And I ask you to consider being a guest on an upcoming episode. The fact is that all of our listeners love hearing other car flippers share their story. And when I say car flipper, I think that's a term that I use for somebody like me who's a licensed dealer. I look at every flip I do as an individual flip. It's somebody like Tori Boyd, who was on a few weeks ago, who strictly is a car flipper, although he also flips guitars and golf carts. And he just does it part-time. He's got a full-time gig, but he makes a nice profit at it, and he stays within the limits of the law. There's somebody like Vic 45, who was on about a month ago or so, who definitely is a serious flipper and pushes every limit of the law. And then there's folks that have been on who are active in our business, maybe from a outside system, counseling, buy here, pay here lots, counseling dealers with their financing or their floor planning. Sorry, I was trying to think of that word. Where they're so the financing that they're using to stock their floor plan. Just we've had so many people on the podcast, 115 episodes. We have had some great guests, and we'd like to consider you. If you got a story to tell, reach out to me. Let's talk about it. Love to have you share your stories, share your success stories, share your pitfalls and your struggles. And if you don't want to do it on the podcast, that's fine, or on video like what we've been doing lately. That's fine too. If you would just like to share them with me on the Car Flipping Forum or via email at flippingquestions@gmail.com, I'll be happy to address questions you have or issues you have, both one-on-one and in future episodes as well. If your question is something that also would apply to other listeners, I'll be happy to share that with them if you don't mind. And interact with them. And if we're not doing it one-on-one on the episode yourself, I'll be happy to bring that information to them, because that's really what we're trying to do is build a podcast that helps people make more money, right? And I think we've done a lot of it. And I thank you, all of you who have reached out to me and shared your ideas and who have shared your compliments and the nice comments that you've made. Makes a big deal. It makes a big difference to me. I don't make a lot of money doing this. It's I'd love to. I'd love to be making a lot of money, but it's kind of a love mission. I love the idea that I can help you guys, and I try to do my very best. So it means a lot to me when you reach out and say you appreciate it. And that's pretty cool. And if you email me, I will answer you in fairly promptly. I try to do it as quickly as I can. Got a few things juggling all the time, but I take a look at that usually every day and try to get back to you right away. Hey, be sure to check out all things Flipping Genius at our website. In case you don't know, it's FLIPPINGENIUS.com. So flippinggenius.com with only one G in the middle. you'll find our YouTube channel, the Flipping Genius YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and search Flipping Genius if you want, but if you go to flippinggenius.com, you'll find links to the channel right there. You'll find our resources page. It's going to give you ways to save money and make money and some ideas that maybe you wouldn't think of on your own. And if you've got suggestions for the resources page, I'm always listening for ways to make it better. You can listen to all 116 episodes of Flipping Genius too, right there at our website, or you can go to wherever you listen to podcasts and listen to them there as well. Please tell your friends about Flipping Genius. And if you can, leave us a 5-star review and share us on social media. I appreciate all of those who have, and I appreciate you if you'll do that. Hey, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become Flipping Geniuses.